this week's news episode, we cover many topics. Particularly worth mentioning is the departure of Henry Cavill from the Witcher series, but also a dual leadership at the renamed DC Studios will have a strong impact on the years to come. Additionally, we talk about Venom 3, Avatar 2, Wonder Man, and The Last of Us. And last but not least, you get to find out what Disney's new Hercules movie has to do with TikTok. We hope you enjoy our new video. With $507 million in box office takings, Venom, There Be Carnage was a total success in 2021. The fact that a third part is in the works has actually been clear since a statement by lead actor Tom Hardy back in 2018. Then, all doubts were removed since the success of the second part. Meanwhile, those responsible behind the scenes have not been sitting idle. Deadline recently reported that the director's position has already been filled. Kelly Marcel, who already contributed to the scripts of the two predecessors, is now taking over as director for the first time in her career. It's certainly a bold move to put an inexperienced director in charge of Venom 3. On the other hand, however, she is very familiar with the franchise thanks to her work as a writer. Marcel will be working on the movie in a dual role as both director and screenwriter, so she bears a lot of responsibility. Currently, there is no information about the storyline or the cast, but we are really excited about the further developments in the Sony Spider-Man universe. No one was expecting this surprising news as The Witcher star Henry Cavill announced last Saturday he will quit the highly popular series around The Witcher, Geralt of Rivia, after 3 seasons. On Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, the 39-year-old shared his news with his fans, where he literally spoke of laying down his Witcher medallion and swords for Season 3. At the same time, Cavill announced that Liam Hemsworth will carry on playing Geralt, which means that at least the series itself will be kept alive. This week, Cavill's departure has fueled speculation as to what his motivation for leaving early might have been. It is obvious to assume that he will now fully dedicate himself to his return to the role of Superman in the DCEU. As we've known since at least the promotional stages of Black Adam, Cavill is coming back for a sequel to Man of Steel and probably also for a Black Adam vs. Superman teased by Dwayne Johnson. However, is this really the reason for his early parting from The Witcher? A second plausible theory focuses on plot-related decisions that Cavill, as a big fan of the books, is said to have disagreed with. In interviews, for example, he has often spoke about how he constantly advocated for the series character Geralt to be closer to the novel character, and if possible, with no creative deviations. This request was consistently disregarded, making Henry Cavill's departure inevitable in the opinion of many fans. Whether the quality of the series will suffer from this drastic cast change is not apparent yet. The majority of fans are still surprised and upset about Cavill's decision to leave and do not yet want to imagine a change of characters. This will not be easy for successor Liam Hemsworth, who will not only have to follow in the footsteps of Cavill, but will also have to win over a discerning fan base. Hemsworth at least seems to be in high spirits and expresses his joy about his new role on Instagram. The final episodes with Henry Cavill will be released in the summer of 2023. After that, it's not known when production on Season 4 will begin. The expectations for the upcoming The Last of Us series are high. On the one hand, they have to succeed in transforming one of the best video games of the last PlayStation generation into a live-action series. On the other hand, the already critical fanbase also needs to be satisfied. Whereas skepticism was high, particularly at the beginning of the series production, many fans are now looking forward to the HBO series as a result of having seen the first images and the first trailer. Until now, we only knew approximately when The Last of Us would hit the domestic screens for the first time, namely at the beginning of 2023. The responsible parties kept quiet about an exact release date, which is why it is all the more surprising that HBO accidentally leaked the series premiere date themselves. On the corresponding HBO store page, you were able to see for a few hours that January 15th, 2023 was selected as the official release date. Before the mistake was noticed by HBO, it was already circulating in the relevant forums on the web and was thus quickly known to the general public. Shortly after the mishap became known, the official The Last of Us Twitter account followed up and officially shared a poster for the series as well as a confirmation of the previously published date. We're excited for more news and look forward to The Last of Us being released soon on January 15th, 2023. The promotional campaign is well underway, and indeed it won't be long before Avatar: The Way of Water hits theaters. The interval between Part 1 and Part 2 is an impressive 13 years. Nevertheless, many movie fans are excited to see how good the late sequel is going to be after so many years in the making. The big question is, will James Cameron succeed in thrilling audiences to such an extent that the 3 additional planned sequels will also create anticipation among the public? Or will the huge project flop and bring Cameron's life work to an untimely end? at least fans who have a soft spot for long movies will get their money's worth. As Deadline and The Hollywood Reporter point out, Avatar: The Way of Water will break the 3-hour mark when it comes to the runtime. The movie is said to be at least 190 minutes in length, probably even longer. That Cameron cannot convince everyone with the lengthy running time is something he has already confirmed in several interviews, but he isn't too concerned about the duration of the film, as people sometimes also watch several episodes of a series at a time, and that can certainly add up to more than 3 hours. Whether Avatar: The Way of Water will also manage to fill the length with exciting content, however, will only become apparent with its release on December 16, 2022. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is known to many as the villain Black Manta in Aquaman, or as the main character in the new action thriller film Ambulance. Now, the 36-year-old is facing new acting challenges that may soon await him in the MCU, based on recent reports from Hollywood. According to these sources, Abdul-Mateen is to play the main character in the planned Wonder Man series and will thus stand on the side of the good guys this time in a superhero blockbuster. Wonder Man was first introduced to the Marvel Comics universe back in 1964 in the Avengers #9, where he was even originally designed to be the antagonist of the Avengers, though he later turned into a superhero after all. Hence, there is already a bit of a connection to the MCU, and it will be interesting to see how Wonder Man will eventually be introduced into the film and series universe. Destin Daniel Cretton, who previously directed Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and who is also the director of Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, will be the producer. The script was written by Andrew Guest, who was involved in the production of the Hawkeye series, for example. In addition to Yahya Abdul-Mateen II in the lead role, we can also look forward to a comeback of Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery. A precise release date for Wonder Man is currently not known, but we'll make sure to keep you posted. There has been a lot of action in the DC universe lately. After a whole bunch of new projects were recently presented, there is now even more news about the creative reorientation of the company. The studio, DC Films, which is mainly responsible for the DCEU, has been renamed DC Studios and has been given a new management. As of November 1st, this new management is in the hands of the two equally responsible partners, Peter Safran and James Gunn. Whereas Safran is the movie producer of films such as Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and Shazam: Fury of the Gods, James Gunn, creator of the Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy, probably requires no further introduction. Both now supervise any film or series project associated with the DC brand. They are thus comparable to Kevin Feige, who has been the creative mastermind in charge of the MCU at competitor Marvel for years. In the future, together, they are to ensure that the DCEU as a whole becomes more appealing again and is able to hold its own against the powerful competitors. Even though both CEOs have equal rights, Safran, who studied law, will be more involved in the commercial side of things, while Gunn, with his artistic training and years of experience as a director, will keep a closer eye on the creative details. Henry Cavill showed himself pleased about the new management team at DC as well. He himself has not yet met the 56-year-old Gunn, but is looking forward to long talks with the talented filmmaker. For his returning part as Superman, Cavill also has some ideas that he would like to discuss with Gunn. He says the Man of Steel is not only a fantastic superhero, but also one with a big heart who always seems to give more than he takes. For Cavill, Superman represents nothing less than the best in people, and so he's looking forward to movies with a more cheerful Superman, as the actor has emphasized in the past. We are certainly eager to see how the next DC movies will be received by audiences and look forward to more news from the two CEOs. What are your thoughts on the creative revamp of the DC universe? Do you think James Gunn and Peter Safran are up to the task, or do you not believe the DCU has a chance to catch up with Marvel in terms of popularity? Let us know your views in the comments. After The Lion King, Pinocchio, and Aladdin, the wave of Disney remakes continues. The biggest criticism is that the quality of the live-action movies can vary greatly, with Pinocchio in particular recently receiving a lot of criticism. Among the upcoming projects is a Hercules movie from Avengers Endgame creators Anthony and Joe Russo. Like many of its predecessors, it will be produced in a live-action format, and the movie will be helmed by Aladdin director Guy Ritchie. A statement by producer Joe Russo recently caused a stir when he talked about the style of the film in an interview with Variety. He stated that the film is to be made in the style of a musical and that the overall approach is to be more experimental. What is particularly noteworthy is that Russo is focusing more on the new generation and no longer on the children of the 90s who grew up with the original film. As such, the movie will be geared toward the spirit of today's times with a focus on viewers who are used to TikTok content. What exactly that means for the plot of Hercules is currently the subject of speculation. However, it's a fact that with this statement, Russo hasn't necessarily created positive positive publicity. Nevertheless, it will be interesting to see how the finished film will be received by the target audience. Unfortunately, there is no release date for the live-action adaptation yet. That was the news for this week. Still want to know more? Then check out our latest original episode where we explored the prequel to The Hunger Games with The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And while you're here, why not give this video a highly appreciated thumbs up? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.